Imagine this. You're in a heated discussion with a colleague who's questioning your decision, and without thinking, you launch into a detailed explanation. In that split second, something invisible shifts. The room feels different. They lean in, probing more, and suddenly, you're on the defensive. What just happened? That's the power shift we're diving into today. The moment you start explaining yourself, authority slips away. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about how humans wired for survival read vulnerability in your words. And if you're like most of us who've navigated careers, relationships, and family dynamics over the years, you've felt this sting more times than you can count. But what if I told you that stopping this habit could reclaim the respect you've earned? Let's unpack why explanations often backfire and how to wield silence like the quiet strength it is. Deep down, our brains are ancient machines, scanning for threats and hierarchies in every interaction. When someone explains themselves, the mind doesn't hear confidence. It picks up on reactivity. It's like a subtle admission. I need you to approve of me. Psychologists have long observed this in social cues. Explanations trigger a distrust response because they smell like justification. Think about a time when a friend over-explained a mistake. Didn't it make you wonder if there was more to the story? Even when the facts are solid, the act of explaining signals insecurity or guilt. It's not logical, it's primal. Our ancestors survived by spotting weakness in the pack, and today, that translates to boardrooms and dinner tables. The brain whispers, if they're explaining, maybe they're not as strong as they seem. And just like that, respect erodes. Not because of what you said, but because you felt the need to say it. History is littered with leaders who understood this instinctively. Kings and generals didn't justify their commands. They issued them and moved forward. Take Winston Churchill during wartime. He rarely explained his strategies to critics. He assumed his authority and let results speak. In social circles, the same holds true. The person who explains least often holds the most sway. It's not arrogance, it's the quiet assumption of power. When authority figures defend themselves, it humanizes them in the wrong way, inviting doubt. We've seen it in politics, where a single, over-explained scandal can topple a career. The lesson? Power doesn't negotiate its existence, it simply exists. By not explaining, you force others to accept your stance or back down, preserving the upper hand you've built through experience. But here's the emotional hook we all fall for. Explaining feels so reasonable in the moment. Your heart races, discomfort builds, and words tumble out to ease the tension. It's not about enlightening the other person, it's about soothing your own anxiety. Manipulators know this all too well. They provoke explanations to gain control, turning your logic against you. Remember that family member who always pushes your buttons until you justify your choices? They're exploiting this trap. Explanations masquerade as rational, but they're driven by fear of judgment. Over time, this habit drains your energy, leaving you reactive instead of resolute. Breaking free means recognizing that discomfort is temporary, while the power you lose might not be. Once you start explaining, it's like opening a floodgate. People sense the give, and they push harder. More questions, more challenges, more subtle disrespect. It's the escalation effect in action. Why? Because your explanation implies you're open to negotiation, even if you're not. In negotiations, for instance, the side that justifies first often concedes more. We've all been there. You explain why you're late to a meeting, and suddenly, the conversation spirals into your time management skills. It invites scrutiny, turning a minor issue into a trial. The more you defend, the more they test, eroding the boundaries you've set over decades of life lessons. Stopping this cycle isn't rude, it's reclaiming your space. Not all clarifications are bad though. There's a fine line between providing clarity and mounting a defense. Clarity is proactive, a brief, factual statement offered from strength, like a mentor sharing wisdom without apology. Self-defense, on the other hand, is reactive, born from pressure, and it screams submission. Most folks miss this distinction, explaining everything to avoid conflict, only to invite more. Picture a doctor calmly stating a diagnosis versus one fumbling through justifications. That's the difference. Strength comes from knowing when to inform without overstepping into excuses. Master this, and your words carry weight, not weakness. Now, consider silence as your secret weapon. In a world noisy with opinions, saying nothing creates a vacuum that others rush to fill. It breeds uncertainty, making them question their own stance. Silence isn't passive, It's a high-status signal, conveying, "I don't need to prove myself." Think of the wise elder in a family gathering who listens more than speaks. Their rare words command attention. Psychologically, it pressures the other party, exposing their insecurities. We've evolved to fear the unknown, so your quiet composure amplifies authority. Over years of interactions, this tool has turned tense moments into triumphs for those who use it wisely. Instead of explaining, high-status individuals opt for alternatives that maintain control. They use short, assertive statements like, "That's my decision," then set boundaries or exit gracefully. No elaboration needed. It's about redirecting the energy back to them. In leadership roles, this might mean delegating without justification, trusting your judgment honed by experience. Controlled exits, a key walk away from unproductive debates, leaving the other side to stew. This isn't avoidance, it's strategy, preserving your peace and position. Let's bring this home with real-life scenarios where explaining tanks respect. At work, justifying a promotion request to a boss invites counter-arguments, making you seem unsure. In relationships, over-explaining a disagreement turns it into a blame game, breeding resentment. During negotiations, detailing your bottom line weakens your leverage, as counterparts probe for cracks. Even in family settings, explaining choices to adult children can diminish your parental authority, positioning you as equals rather than guides. These everyday pitfalls accumulate, chipping away at the esteem you've cultivated through hard-won wisdom. Here's a simple fix: the one-sentence rule. Instead of diving into details, respond with something concise like, "I've considered it, and this is the path forward." It acknowledges without inviting debate, preserving your authority. Practice this in low-stakes moments and watch how it shifts dynamics. No aggression, just quiet resolve. Perfect for those of us who've seen enough drama to value efficiency. This approach rattles weak people because silence mirrors their own doubts back at them. When you don't explain, their insecurities surface. They label it arrogance to cope. But true confidence doesn't seek validation, it stands firm. Over time, you'll notice pushback from those who thrived on your reactivity, but that's a sign you're leveling up. It's uncomfortable at first, but like any habit forged in maturity, it pays dividends in respect. There are red-line scenarios where explaining is a guaranteed loss. Never justify yourself to someone who's already decided against you. It's futile and diminishes you. In toxic arguments, explanations fuel the fire. Disengage instead. When facing unfounded accusations, defending plays into their narrative. Or in power imbalances, like with a manipulative superior, over-explaining signals, subservience. These are the moments to hold your ground silently, letting actions reaffirm your stance. That said, there are rare times when explaining strategically boosts your power. If it builds alliances or educates from a position of strength, go for it. But time it right. For example, after a win, a brief rationale can inspire trust. Or in mentoring, sharing reasoning empowers others without weakening you. The key is intent. Is it to clarify or to convince? When done sparingly, it enhances your aura, drawing on the depth of your experiences. Ultimately, adopting this mindset triggers an identity shift from seeking approval to embodying authority. Stop explaining, and people start treating you differently. They assume your competence rather than questioning it. It's a rewiring that happens gradually as interactions reinforce your new boundaries. You'll feel lighter, more in control, reflecting the poise that comes with age and insight. And the final principle: respect isn't proven through endless words, it's felt in your behavior. You can't argue someone into admiring you. It's enforced by how you carry yourself. Silence, boundaries, and assumption of power create an invisible force field. Embrace this and watch your influence grow, not through force, but through the quiet strength that's always been there. So next time the urge to explain hits, pause. Let the shift work in your favor. You've earned that power, now own it.